It was just after 0500 when we reached the bank. They said artillery was on its way. We just had to hold close before the Treasury. But the bridge was already gone, and so there were chances of an easy crossing. We swam the stretch anyway. It wasn't far, really, just a few meters. But the current was fast, the gear heavy, and there was no cover on the other side. We didn't think about that too much. You don't at that age. You just jump because the man in front of you did.
Lieutenant Jonathan Sionnaich was just 24 years old when he led the detachment near the Treasury Bridge. Hardened by earlier campaigns, he was respected by his men. Calm under pressure, deliberate in movement, he led not from above, but from the front.
We couldn't see the concrete bunker which we had to suppress, not through the gas masks. The lenses were fogged, cracked, smeared with soot. Some of the boys didn't get theirs on in time. They strapped them too loose. Gas doesn't ask for permission. It finds the smallest crack and makes it a grave.
We were pioneers and eager ones, young lads mostly, hungry to prove something, the kind that still cheered when supply trucks rolled in to feed the mortar units and diggers like us. I wasn't trained for mortars. Hell, I never even saw a manual. All I knew was how to dig and dig fast. But when there's no more earth to break, no trenches to deepen, someone hands you a shell and points to a tube. That's war. The spotter barked coordinates like I was supposed to know what to do with them.
Lieutenant Jonathan Sionnaich and his detachment held the position for days, resisting repeated assaults. The Treasury Bridge became a crucible of attrition. What began as a tactical crossing turned into a burnout stalemate, choked by faltered supply lines. At noon on the fourth day, Warden artillery from a neighboring regiment finally found its mark, briefly shifting the momentum. But reprieve was short. A gunboat ambush and light tank detachment struck the flank soon after, shattering the hope. As the situation collapsed, evacuation became a race against time. Intel chatter flooded every platoon channel. The Warden artillery stood moments from destruction, but against the odds, they pulled together. All men and women rallied in one final push to extract the guns. The position was lost, but the battery was saved. Days later, the Treasury would vanish under a Warden atomic strike. It was no longer ground to hold. It was a message.
They told us to hold the Treasury Bridge until the guns could pull out. It sounded straightforward, standard delay and fall back. We knew the Colonials had armor. We didn't know they had a gunboat. We held that bridgehead to the last, like it mattered more than our lives. It did, because for those gunners behind us, it did. The worst part, they came too late. Not their fault, but we paid for it. I watched boys I trained with disappear into the shell bursts. No noise, just gun. You don't forget the last time you give an order to a man who won't make it through the hour. Yeah. I don't see the Treasury as a loss. We got the artillery out. That was the mission. But if I'm honest, I would trade every medal I have to have even one more of my men standing here instead of me.
Bridges decide campaigns. From the frozen rivers of Godcrofts to the swamp causeways of the Drowned Vale, every major advance has come down to a crossing. They are points where strategy, terrain, and courage converge, and where the price of progress is counted in lives, not miles. When Army Group E left the Treasury behind, it was not the end of their fight, only the start of another. The order was clear: fall back to Foxcatcher, secure the road to Marban Hollow. The maps show it as a line of retreat, but for the men who walked it, it was a march bound by something stronger than orders: comradeship. At Mox, in the war's first days, that bond was tested in a place history now calls the slaughterhouse. Lieutenant Jonathan Sionnaich and the corporal of the Pioneer Corps were among those who saw Mox during its deadlock.
I was just a fresh private at Mox, still smelling of boot polish and bad coffee, and they dropped me in the hollow like I'd volunteered for it. My orders were simple: keep the mortar crews breathing and their tubes talking. That meant hauling crates until my back hated me, my arms hated me, and I started to hate my own name. The moment a runner rolled in with more supplies, the sun preserves me. I wanted to kiss the driver and pin a medal on the truck. My highest commends to those driving gods. And like your mum, by bringing out your favorite stew, only this one blew the enemy to pieces. We could smash the trenches all day with the mortars, but it didn't matter. Those heavier boxed guns behind them, they just kept spitting lead. You kill the front, the back still kills you. More simple as that. Problem was this was the start of the war. We didn't have half the toys we've got now. No fancy shells, no shiny tanks, just grit, shovels, and the gear you could carry on your back. That's when this eager front officer, bright-eyed like he'd never seen a bullet up close, comes up with the plan: Mammon rushes. Was it mad? Absolutely. But sometimes in war, mad is the only plan you've got.
You haven't seen this madness until you've seen a Mammon rush, wave after wave. It was a mass of men with death in their hands running straight at the pillbox lines. You pulled a pin, you've got seconds to make it count, and they did. Wave after wave, charging through machine gun arcs, diving into craters, getting back up and throwing as if their own lives weighed nothing at all. We weren't trained for it. You can't be. All you can do is follow, because once the first wave goes, you either run with them or you stand alone. I ran. We all did. It begins with one man. No order, no tactical recommendation. Just a sudden forward step into the teeth of fire. One man, one call, and the line moves with him. We're leaving in 15 seconds, he mentions in the middle of a crowd. At first, it's a handful, then a dozen. Then the horizon is full of blue coats charging together, like the sea itself has risen to break the walls. That's how you break a line, not with perfect plans, but with time and guts, and the will to move first. One man can turn the tide. One spark can light the charge. It doesn't matter if you're a fresh-faced private or wearing the gold of a field marshal. Your courage can carry others further than you'll ever know. Siva is held by such moments. Never stop believing in yourself. Never stop believing in the man beside you, because in the defense of Siva, it's not the rank on your collar that matters. It's the will in your heart and the strength of comradeship that makes us unstoppable.